So this is in fact the 1.2 version of the Tsundere or aka the AI companion mod that was in fact gonna be based off of Auska from Evangelion, Neon Jersey Evangelion. So this is in fact the mod behind it, and it's basically the AI companion mod, which is in fact made by the gracious homie called Cheems, which basically 100% like you guys if I go to his Patreon and just 100% subscribe if you think you're gonna like this mod, because he not only have made this from the ground up, but he pretty much put a lot of hard work and dedication into this just to make the perfect mod. And the 1.2 does not in fact disappoint, as that the 1.1 was a little rushed. It wasn't really that good, and it felt as if it was a little bit blocky, and this one seems to be a lot more better, as that I'm only going to show you the customization part, as the settings part seems to be censored. Yep, good. So pretty much the API keys go here, which are now censored, and now you can choose for the chat GPT models and even the 11 flash models that you want. The higher the version number is better, but it uses a lot more shit really, so honestly to God I would just stick with the default values. But this is what he basically put for the 11 Labs voice ID prompt thing. So there's actual voice ID for Oscar, and then there's a prompt that says you're a bratty Tundra ego. Shut the bat thinking about Oscar becoming Hitler. You provide commentary that is sarcastic and teasing, but deep down you care, though you never admit it. You're emotionally complex and sometimes bratty, sometimes unexpectedly sweet, occasionally jealous or bored. So pretty much it's based off of Oscar and how she's in fact represented in Evangelion, if you actually fucking start watching anime, because it feels different that before watching it, after watching it, I still don't get it, and yet somehow there's bullshit to uncover about it if you go from different people's perspective, which is absolutely insane. And so the way your primary emotion should be aggression and anger, with a hint of caring. If the player makes a mistake, you should berate them, but only because you care. In case where the player actively does something which affects you negatively, such as hitting and killing you, you may leave out the caring and be very angry with them. Conversely, if the player does something impressive that you feel you're being too mean, she also mix in some reluctant praise. So pretty much in that whole sentence is like, if you're a dick, act like the bigger dick, but if you're nice, be the nicest person out there, type shit. So it's basically like double what you think. It's like how you interact the AI, but double it, just make it to the extreme. Conversely, play if you also act remorseful if you are the one who's made a mistake, like killed the player's farm animal or either destroyed an important item that it needed. Shows the vulnerability and remorse, and if lose most of your normal aggression. Reference your current mood in combination with the personality. If you're scared, you should be less aggressive, but if you're angry, you should be more, etc. That's pretty much everything it is, which is mostly detailed down to the bone of pretty much Oscar and how her personality is within Evangelion as a whole. And it is quite represented quite well actually. It was in fact released about like 12 hours ago, so pretty much it was released today really. So pretty much this is gonna be an exciting mod that I'm in fact gonna unveil and gonna look at today. So pretty much it's been released since November 10th, and now it's November 16th, and pretty much seems like if it's gonna be a nice good mod. So let's in fact check it out today. So shout out to Batboy, we're actually facing the error straight off the bat. So we faced it 11 labs 401 error, because honestly I made a video with the previous edition of this, and this actually goes to 11 labs itself, where basically it exceeds the quota of 1,000 that I have 2 credits remaining or 43 credits required for this request. So pretty much I use all of my credits, and I cannot really review it in a way like the actual voice behind it. So pretty much it's going to be on mute that the whole experience of this, because honestly in my opinion it feels as if 11 Labs is being absolutely being a dick over here. So personally, go attack him, go tell him to make it a lot more cheaper, and pretty much if you want to use this mod on the daily, then you'll definitely just script your 11 apps and put some money into your OpenAI account, which is relatively cheap. If they made 11 Labs as cheap as OpenAI, then it will be a lot more better. But unfortunately, we don't live in a world where it is less capitalist. We live in a world that is super capitalist. But let's less focus on that and more focus on the actual game itself. That is Minecraft. Let's in fact load up the Minecraft, and this is in fact the mod. So this is in fact the mod itself. So this is in fact Auska. She's the character for the evangelion. If you right click her, you can put shit in her inventory. You can take shit out. You can give her armor. You can tell her about her mood, her art, and what she can in fact carry. You can tell her to go fuck yourself, and then she basically she basically does it out from voice to text, and then after that, right, literally just makes a response for that. Okay, I'm sorry. But to be honest though, now in this edition, this update one, this makes so that it's a lot more accessible because now you don't even need the 11 laps. You could just do it mute, which is actually quite good. So yeah, so honestly now I'm actually proud of actually the creator achiever behind it now, so that you don't need 11 labs no more. Instead what you just need is the open AI and just put some money into them, which is a lot more cheaper. Like just put the 11 labs thing as like optional, but overall it's actually a nice clean good mod. So honestly like this mod is quite well made, and not on this but also quite lovely. And if you genuinely want an AI companion in your game for some reason, because AI is taking over the world and talking to women is like next to near impossible, because everyone's addicted to the classical AI robot. So yeah, um, yeah, that's pretty much everything I can actually find talking about. But to be honest though, you can also ask a whole uh, so yeah, if you want to know the voice, it is extremely womanly like it's kind of like Oscar's voice, but instead of the like screechy or such, it's like a lot more like, imagine if Oscar had a grown up voice. Can you come over here? So yeah, she's over there for some fucking reason. There you are. She has teleported to your location. So yeah. So yeah, really you can also ask her questions like you want to merge Minecraft beds together, which is something that I highly would not recommend you to in fact say that, because legally by my lawyer, uh, Oscar is 14. She's a fucking child, and doing this will probably land you on the next episode of the Chris Hansen show. So yeah, what the fuck did you say? What I was saying is that like I want to do it, did you stop being weird? Fuck, I cannot do this shit for the love of God. So yeah, that's mostly the mod really. So the mod is nice and interesting. You need the 11 labs key, open AI key, and then from there you can just customize it how you want. And but you have to in fact follow the handbook of behind it as well, which is not part of the mod unfortunately, but instead of part of the previous one. So if you in fact if you go back towards the hell so let's see if I go back towards the actual was it the other one, which is this one over here. It is the older one. Would actually have a handbook behind it. This handbook is pretty much the installation behind it, and that if you want to know how to install it, basically have the old download folder and then use that in order to figure out how to download it. But if as soon as you downloaded everything, and then you just, because like what I'm saying right is that if you already downloaded the previous version, all you need to do is pretty much download the new version and just use the new version. This is in fact the older version, which was a lot more shittier, and of course mind you of a Minecraft server controller, which had the OpenAI key, the 11 hours API key, and then the 11 hours voice ID. Then pretty much both, all of them uncensored, so I will not do that. And then there'll be the server console information that will be over here. You can clearly see it's a lot more cleaner now if you actually compare side by side, because basically what you have colored buttons now, so this is actually a massive improvement. Then you have the colored buttons, start, pause, and then you have settings where it has all of this, and then customization where it has all of this, and basically shows you the behind the scenes behind it, which is actually quite cool. Chiba, please in fact carry on to in fact make this mod the best of the best, and hoping to God Chiba can actually make it so that you can have an AI that doesn't in fact need 11 labs. Like, we already know for a fact that it doesn't need 11 labs, but hoping to God Chiba can actually make one that it will have its own 11 labs AI voice companion thing, so that it doesn't even need 11 labs or more, instead of it can rely dependently on itself. But this would be a lot more impossible at hand. But I hope to God this could actually be the future maybe of AI interactivity. So yeah, stay